So today I have taken inspiration from this book, which a beautiful friend of mine gave me for my birthday. And if you're watching, I love you. And this book was a really easy read, and it's not necessarily a book about writing or a book about creativity, but there was a very interesting chapter that I thought, this is totally relevant. I was thinking probably more about my one-to-one clients, but it's basically relevant for writers, creatives, anybody trying to get anywhere in life. So the theme for today is we can either act out or we can act. So just take a moment to reflect on the difference between the two. This acting out where we're like, oh my God, everything's just really crap. I'm just really having a bad day. Life is not going my way. All the energy that we are using up by acting out, the fact that really we're not getting anywhere when we're in that state of acting out, throwing things across the room, having tantrums. And then we flip into the other place where we act, where we say, okay, things aren't going my way. What am I going to do about it? Okay, I haven't written for a week. What am I going to do about it? Okay, it's time that I organised an exhibition for all these paintings. How am I going to make that happen? So we come from complaining, whinging, stressing, moping about, all of which I am very familiar with, and I definitely do, and I still do, and I will probably continue to do, because there's some sort of guilty pleasure to be had. But then there's a moment when that guilty pleasure has been satisfied, and then we act. So I want to explore that. I want to explore how are we acting out, and then how do we act? So think about the area that you want to work. Do you want to work an area in your life, an area in your job? Do you want to look at your writing? Do you want to look at your creative process? So choose your area, okay? And now taking this area, 2 minutes, in what ways are you acting out? Off you go. Okay, 2 minutes. Yeah, that was quite funny for me. I chose to look at my work as a life coach rather than my writing. And it was really clear to me that I start to act out when this little voice in my head is like, oh, I don't want to do it. something on my to-do list, maybe a little bit of time on social media. Oh, I don't want to do it. It all seems too hard. My goals look really far away. And then I end up doing something of no benefit whatsoever to my career. So it seems like very sabotaging behavior. And then I'm really disappointed in myself. And then I'm like, oh, mate, you call yourself a life coach. Well, look, you're really just a fraud because you're not doing anything life coachy at all. In fact, you're doing something completely the opposite. You're just being really lame. So there's a whole sort of negative cycle that I get into. And then oh my God, I totally start acting like a teenager, sulking, and then quite poignantly wanting somebody else to come in and save the day and give me what I want. And so here's that moment in that acting out, which is, we're like, oh, if I get miserable enough, if I make enough of a scene, then someone else is going to come in and say, honey, it's okay. What do you need? Let me give you a back rub, whatever it is. Someone's just going to turn up and just hand me a continuously successful career on a plate. And it's like, I'm a teenager. That's what I want, and I want it now. So here's the moment when the acting is so important, because it takes us from that place of just being a victim, just being a sulky teenager, into that place where it's like, it's only ever going to be us. We are the only ones who have the capability to create this life, to create this book, this novel, this piece of art. It's got to come back to us, and we have got to be the ones to act. So we go from acting out, it's all really rubbish, to saying, no one else is going to save you. It's only going to be yourself. So I want to read a quote from the chapter that gave me the inspiration for this exercise, and it is Shakespeare. And Shakespeare wrote, "Then imitate the action of the tiger, stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood." Go Shakespeare. So this is where we're stepping into. We've got to act. We have to be that tiger. We have to stiffen up those sinews. We have to really galvanize those muscles and summon up the blood and put it to the task at hand, because nobody else is going to do it in the same way that we are, okay? So the second exercise, what would it be to summon the tiger and to act? What would it be to summon the tiger and to act? 2 minutes, off you go. All right, there we go. So how was that for you when you summoned the tiger? I didn't think about this when I chose the exercise that we were going to do, but it struck me as really important in those moments of acting out to connect to that animal energy, because it takes us from the human story of, oh, woe is me, into that place of the purely instinctive, the purely animal side to us, where we do act. Because it's our nature to act. It's totally in our genes to survive, essentially. So when I put here in the exercise, when I summon the tiger, I roar. I really felt that animal energy wake up and come alive. And it was so clear to me when I was writing the acting out that the only energy I felt there was, like I said, this really sulky teenager, a really sort of mew energy, a really sort of woe is me. But in that roar of the tiger, there was such a powerful shift. And the roar was me saying, this is me and I won't stay down. And so something to just take away, whatever connection you made with your tiger, to think about the difference between that sort of helpless, complaining energy and when that pure animal steps in, and when that instinct to survive is there, and how it can really galvanize us to the task at hand. So we can spend time acting out, which is essentially taking us away from what we want. Or in those moments, we can say, okay, I got my guilty pleasure. It's now time to summon the blood and to be the tiger. So ponder these insights, reflect on where you've got to after these writing exercises. And also, I'd like to remind you that do feel free to add a comment, because sometimes I get requests. So you'll notice that some of these videos are responses to requests that people have given me either through emails or through Twitter. It's also really lovely to get a comment on this page. It really helps with what I'm trying to do. So I look forward to your messages, and I also look forward to writing with you next Saturday. As always, take care.